Well, hello there. I'm Kim Berry, editor of Food and Drink Business. Welcome to our weekly news roundup. In its half-yearly results, Unilever has confirmed that it is selling parts of its tea business. It's going to hold on to its operations in Indonesia and India, as well as its joint venture ready-to-drink partnerships, but everything else, it appears, is going to be up for sale. It initially flagged this in January after particularly the black tea business had a long period of time of sluggish growth and revenue performance, as well as just riding off the back of the worst quarterly performance in a decade. We spoke to a Unilever Australia spokesperson, but they couldn't expand for us as to the impact that's going to have on what was originally an Australian startup, its T2 business. So more details to come in terms of what this sale is going to look like. The Food Agility CRC has launched a 3-year program called the Mission for Food Life. It's looking at vulnerable areas of the food supply chain and looking for tech and research partners to develop data-driven technologies to support the food supply chain system. We spoke previously with Mark Barthel from the CRC Fight Food Waste, and he was telling us that these early stages of the food supply chain are critical to look at if we're going to meet the halving food waste by 2030 goal. Marley Spoon announced its second quarter results yesterday afternoon. It's had a stellar performance, upgrading its 2020 full year guidance. It's expecting at least 70% revenue growth, revising its previous guidance of 30%. Its second quarter revenue is up 129% on the previous corresponding period. In Australia, it has returned a profit in that quarter, and while the company as a whole is yet to do so because of its sort of huge infrastructure and capital investment, its growth during and from the impacts of the pandemic are really quite something. The global small business platform Xero put out a report this week called Rebuilding Australia, the Role of Small Business. It's interviewed more than 1,000 small businesses and basically their response and the impact of the pandemic that they have seen firsthand. Bernard Salt, the social commentator, is the author of the report, and when we spoke to him yesterday, he was saying that despite the terrible pain and hardship that COVID-19 is having, there have been some real green shoots for business. One of the things he talked about was the optimism and the resilience and the nimbleness of small business in particular when these sorts of, these very unique situations like this pandemic has reaped. It found that 1 in 5 had experienced a loss of revenue, and 1 in 20 had prospered. But 58% of those in the manufacturing space were confident about the next 6 months. One thing that Bernard Salt said, and this has been echoed through a lot of commentators and business experts, has been that the pandemic has been a circuit breaker, and it's forced business to adapt as well as jolting it into acting with greater urgency. So that's a really great report. I urge you to head to the website and read more about it and all the details that are in there. And with that, I'm Kim Berry. This week we've been brought to you by FoodMac. Please head to foodanddrinkbusiness.com.au to read about all the stories breaking this week and to sign up to our newsletters. I'm Kim Berry, over and out.